Have you ever had a time that you had someone else's fears or their insecurities or their opinions affect what it is that you do or how you think about yourself or what you're afraid of? Allow me to dissuade you from that and give you a quick little story time. The first show that I ever did for competing in bodybuilding was a bikini competition. So I did bikini my first time and I liked it, but again, it was my first time doing it. I wasn't really sure what I wanted out of it, and I didn't have a coach. So after I got into that first show, I liked how I looked, but the notes that came back for me from the judges were saying, hey, your shoulder's a little bit too big. You overshot that a little bit. So in order to continue to be in bikini and do better, then you have to bring those down. Or you might want to think about just go ahead and going up and going into figure. And at that point, I just wasn't willing to let anyone tell me to be smaller again. So I was like, we're going to go ahead and go up. We're going to go ahead and go into figure. Now, again, before I actually got into competing, I was doing runway for the longest time and was very, very thin. So when I did start working out, I started working out with the goal of just gaining weight, feeling stronger, feeling better, healthier eating habits, things like that. And then I got into competing and did bikini. But again, I still had a lot of size to add on. And again, initially not having a coach, I wouldn't recommend that, but that is where I was at that point in time. I did not have a coach and I wanted to go into figure. But again, I didn't have anyone telling me any of these things. And I honestly did a lot of my own research. And part of that research was asking people what their opinions were or what some of their insights might have been with them competing. So with deciding to get into figure, there was someone that I knew who knew someone else who was in figure, and they said, hey, you know what, you should ask them some questions and then see what their insight is, and then, glean from that what you will, and then go from there. I told her I am going to do figure for my next show, and I just wanted to see if there's any pieces of information she could give me, any bits of wisdom from her competing before that would help me along my journey to compete in that next show being figure. Now, again, this was not a coach or anything like that. It was just another competitor who had done figure as well before. And I was just asking what her insight might have been or some opinions might have been from her to make me feel a little bit more confident moving into that space. And I wasn't sure what I was expecting, but I kind of got the opposite of any kind of confidence moving into figure. She told me that she thought that I was a little bit too tall for figure, that figure typically are going to be a little bit shorter. Not true, by the way, but that I was a little too tall for figure, that I was a little bit too thin. I didn't have the frame, the shape that would give me what I needed for figure, and that I would probably have a tough time winning that, again, as before, I didn't have the body for figure. And I got off of that call thinking, well, crap. Well, I can't fix my height. I can't change anything about my height. And at the time, again, I was still learning, that just because you're taller doesn't mean that you can't gain size or anything like that. But I was still learning this. And again, her telling me that I don't have the frame, the structure for figure, I don't have the body for figure. I was like, well, crap. What do I do now then? So from there, I wasn't really sure about what I wanted to do. I just knew I didn't want to go back down into a figure. And again, resort to bringing things down that I actually really liked. So I decided to just keep going and keep prepping for that show and feeling it out from there. Honestly, when you get towards the end of prep and you're getting super close to your show, you have so many thoughts running through your head. And one of the thoughts that I had was, crap, what if I don't have enough size? What if I'm too tall? What if I do this show and I go and I don't do well? I almost did not do that show. I did almost not do my first figure show because I was so afraid of me not having either what it takes or letting someone else's opinions and thoughts get into my head. I placed second that show. It was my very first time doing an NPC figure show. I placed second my very first time, and I almost didn't even compete because I almost let someone else's voice get in my head and dictate my choice. Cut to getting better every show, and then getting to the point where I got my pro card for figure. I can soundly say that I have the body for figure. But again, I just wanted to give you this little story time to show you that if you have someone else that's giving you information that is coming from a place of kindness, then feel free to take from it what you will. But at the end of the day, you still have to make your own choice and do what you feel like you want to do. And don't let someone else's voice get into your head and make it to where you don't actually even do the thing that you could be amazing at. So again, get out there and do the thing. Do the thing. All right, so thanks for listening and watching this right now. I hope this helps some of you. And if you need a little bit more help sifting through misinformation and things that might make it harder for you to make the next step in your fitness goals, just a reminder, I have my 8-week challenge that is running right now, that the signups end on the 22nd of September. Spots are limited. So again, if you want to get in and get everything moving and make sure you have your spot, sign up sooner than later.